I'd like to call the Village Board regular meeting to order of March 20th, 2014 at 7:02 p.m. Clerk Simsky, please call the roll.
Mayor Gunther.
Present.
The clerk's here. Trustee Addington.
Here.
Trustee Barker.
Here.
Trustee Barry.
Here.
Trustee Nero.
Here.
Trustee Scott.
Here.
Trustee Seneca. Here. Manager Searle is absent tonight. Deputy Manager May.
Here.
All right, I'd like to,
Oh, and I'm sorry, Attorney Zimmerman.
wait for that, but I'd like to, if everybody would please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and welcome everybody tonight. At this point, I'd like to go into open forum. Is there anybody here this evening who is not on the agenda, who would like to Seeing none, I will close open forum, move on to reports. The first report is under the mayor, and the item that appears on your agenda has been moved to the April meeting. This one was Community School District 201, the Destination Imagination 2014 Team Recognition. We're going to do that next meeting. Under my report, it's my pleasure tonight to have with us one of our award-winning participants in our Wildcat football program. And I also have Coach David Markle. Coach Markle, would you please come to the podium? He's going to tell us a little bit about this award and who the young gentleman is who won it.
Absolutely. Well, first off, thank you guys for having us over here today. I want to give you guys a little bit of information about the Wildcats, because you might not know, but we play in the most difficult football league in the country. We are a national league with a national championship in Florida. Half of the national championships in this league for the whole country, came out of Chicago. So we played the best of the best. And the returning Wildcat teams, who you're going to get a chance to see this year in 2014, have a winning percentage of 68.8%. We'll round that up to 70%. That sounds pretty good. The junior Pee Wee team that Zachary Gasick played on, I was honored enough to be their head coach. We were 6-2 in the regular season. 2 of our losses came against the national champions and the runner-up to the national championship. So the teams that beat us were the elite of the elite. We took on the best teams Chicago had to offer, no question about it. We won our division. We were undefeated within our division. When we played at home, any of you who came to see our home games, we outscored the competition 106-6 at home at Westmont Stadium.
Wow.
Zachary, how'd we give up 6 last game of the year, right? Kid was fast. He was from Homewood Flossmoor, and he got a TD, but they did not win, 14-6. They lost. We went into the playoffs as a divisional champion, as a #1 seed from the Blue Division. We took on Windy City, a team who, to say they're elite, wouldn't even begin to describe it. We knocked them out. We knocked them out in the playoffs. We finished in the Final Four in the state of Illinois, losing only to a team who ended up playing for the national championship. What's quite remarkable about this team is 6 of our 23 players really should have been playing at a level lower. We just didn't have enough kids. Plus, 8 of our 23 were first-year players. To say that is remarkable wouldn't even begin to describe it. What I would like to do is to read you the letter, the award, and the reason we're here is because of this young man, Zachary Gasick.
And Zachary, why don't you come on up to the podium and sit alongside your coach while he reads that.
This is what he was worried about, being way up here.
Being on TV.
Exactly. Well, let me explain what this award's about. This is a national award, the Black Lion. If you watched Army, the Academy play, they have a Black Lion Award winner every year. The board for the Black Lion is Bobby Ross, former Super Bowl coach for the San Diego Chargers, Jim Shelton, a 3-star general, and Hugh Wyatt, one of the elite coaches in the country in high school. And this award is for Don Hollander, and I'm going to start reading from the letter, and I'll add some extra things. In this award, just because I nominate somebody doesn't mean they're going to get it. So he earned it. So I'm going to read from the letter, and then I'll shut my mouth and let Zachary take center stage. I'd like to nominate Zachary Gasek of the Junior Pee Wee Westmont Wildcats for the Black Lion Award. Zachary is a humble and outstanding young man that truly embodies the spirit of Don Hollander, which is leadership, courage, devotion to duty, self-sacrifice, and above all, an unselfish concern of the team ahead of himself. Don Hollander, and I'll go off my letter, just so you guys know, he was an All-American tight end for Army back in the 60s as a junior. And that meant he got all the awards. He's a parade All-American. He gets to be on magazine covers. However, as a senior, they needed him to play quarterback. So he gave up all those All-American honors, all those magazine covers, to be a pretty cruddy quarterback. But that's what the team needed. Don Hollander went on in the Vietnam War to sacrifice his life for his platoon. Without him, more men would have died. So, as is typical, he's unselfish even at the end. So now back to my letter. And this award is about Don Hollander, and you only nominate players. You got to be a great player, but you have to also embody that spirit of courage, devotion to duty, and self-sacrifice, and an unselfish concern of everybody else in front of yourself. So back to the letter. Leadership. Zachary was named one of our 4 team captains. He was a starting right offensive tackle and starting nose guard. When we needed a new tight end, it was Zachary that helped that player on his positional assignments in practice and during games. On defense, Zachary would help the defensive tackles with their assignments on a regular basis. Zachary is a throwback to the way players used to be. He never draws attention to himself, and rather quietly talks to his teammates to assist them in any way he can. He goes out, plays hard, smart, and is a very fearsome hitter. Zachary never brags and is very humble. When he was named a team captain, I told the team that some players do a lot of talking, others are doers, and Zachary is a doer. His father later shared with me that Zachary said it was the greatest moment of his life. That's what this is about. Performance. So this is some background, how we play in the hardest league in the whole country. Even though we had a major speed disadvantage against the inner city teams of Chicago, we finished the season as one of the top 4 teams in the state of Illinois. Zachary is a model of consistency. As on offense, he was one of our highest rated blockers. On defense, our nose guard draws tremendous amounts of attention and is double teamed on most plays. Regardless, he recorded 15 tackles, second highest of any lineman, a sack, 7 tackles for 24 yards of losses, caused 3 fumbles, and recovered a fumble. Zachary was a nightmare for any team to deal with, and there isn't a coach in the country that wouldn't want a player like him. I should add that we are at a level that is lighter. Basically, Zachary was also giving away 15 pounds pretty much against everyone he won against this year because of just how his age and weight falls. Last but not least, concern with the team ahead of himself. Zachary started having an ankle problem during the playoffs when we were about to play Windy City, the team we needed to beat to get that Final Four ranking. And they are unbelievable, to tell you how good they are. Throughout that week, he couldn't run, let alone practice. But he never missed a minute of practice. By the way, 0 missed practices all season. And as anyone would tell you, if you play for me, we practice a lot, right?
Yes.
He never missed a minute of practice and spent the entirety of every single practice coaching the players that were going to take his starting spots if he couldn't play. That's what we're talking about of being unselfish. Now, he did physical therapy multiple times every single day that week, and he played that Sunday and dominated. 4.5 tackles led us in the game, had an elite blocking performance, and we defeated that powerhouse team. I asked the coach if they have any questions. So with that, you'll see on his jersey there's a black lion patch, same one that Kansas State and many universities and hundreds of colleges across the country have. I give you Zachary Gasek, Black Lion Award winner.
Zachary, congratulations. I'd like to call upon Trustee Barry to do the honor tonight, since I believe you are his nephew. And I'd like Trustee Barry to present Zachary with a certificate from the village in recognition of all your hard work and dedication in achieving this award. So again, Trustee Barry.
Family members?
Again.
Nice going, Zach.
Again, congratulations, Zachary, and Coach Marco. I know that you put a lot of time in. It's all volunteer, but we really appreciate it, what you do for the community. Continuing under my report, I'd like to call Chief Weiss up to the podium, and he's got some information on a severe weather seminar we will be holding.
Thanks, Mayor. Our EMA members have been working very hard to bring in some top meteorologists and weathercaster people, and they were able to get Tammy Suzar from Fox TV that does the morning and the noon weather to come on Tuesday, April 8th at 7 p.m. at our Westmont Police Department Training Center at 500 North Cass. And she's going to talk about severe weather, including tornadoes that are coming upon us. She's going to tell you how you should prepare, what you should do, and you'll be actually trained to be a severe weather spotter. And we would like to extend this invitation to all our residents in the community to attend this, along with our EMA members, our CERT members, our citizens, police, and fire alumni members, and all our residents to come to this and be prepared, because as you know, we got hit with some severe weather last year, and we've had a couple of years back, and you never know when we're going to get hit again. So again, we're offering this. Our emergency management personnel worked hard to put this together and bring good instructors out, and we would like to see a good turnout for this on April 8th at 7 o'clock at the Westmont Police Department Training Center. And I also, as I have the podium, just want to bring a couple other things up. Our kids camp is coming up in June, July, and August, and want to alert all the residents that have children in elementary schools, especially 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, that sometime early April we'll be getting information out with the dates and announcing to have our kids safety camp again that the police and fire department participate in and present to our kids in the community. And then the last thing is that we have an overwhelming response for our Citizens Fire Academy that is going on right now, where we had to split the class. And we have about 3/4 of another class for the fall time. We'll start in September and go through November that we'll be hosting again. So if you're interested in that, please call our firehouse at 630-981-6400. I want to thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Couple more items is Larry McIntyre. He leave the building?
He's coming.
He's
He
coming.
was hiding in the.
I asked Larry to come to the podium and talk about, we had the Chamber's Annual Community Awards Banquet, which was last week, and I think I want Larry to mention those who won some awards.
Sure. Thank you very much. And on the cover of the Bugle, they had an excellent picture of Mayor Gunther and Citizen of the Year award winner, which was Joyce Feltz. And nominated for this year's Citizen Award was both Joyce and Kathy Casey, who's not only an employee for the village, but also a great volunteer in the community. As we all know, for those who attend this event, it's a wonderful night of pride. The Chamber does a great job, and you cannot leave that particular event without just feeling great about all the things that Westmont does and all the people who make Westmont a great place to live, work, and raise your family. As well as Joyce winning Citizen of the Year, we wanted to mention some of the other award winners. Karen Johnson with District 201, she won the Educator of the Year award. And then Craig Scala from our Westmont Fire Department won our Public Safety Officer of the Year award. And then Jimmy Wright, who happens to also work for the Village of Westmont in our Public Works Department, he won the Westmont Special Events Making Memories Award. And anyone who knows Jimmy knows that he's very active and puts forth a lot of dedication to making sure that our special events run very well. Doug Carmichael won the Rotary Club's Paul Harris Award. Pam Wagner won the Westmont Chamber's President's Award, and then the Dick Bussey Business of the Year Award went to Burgess Square Healthcare. And those were some of the winners, and we want to thank the Chamber for putting on a great night.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you. And my last item, and I know we went through some uplifting information, but we'd all like to, I think the board, myself, would like to extend our condolences to Ron Searle's family, including his mother, sister, brother, for the loss of his dad, who passed this week. And I'd like Jenny Simsky, if she could please read the information pertaining to the services.
Ron Gunter's father's wake.
Ron
Gunter, why did I?
Searle.
Sorry. Ron Searle's father's wake. Visitation will be Friday, tomorrow night, March 21st, 4 o'clock to 7 p.m. at our Savior's Lutheran Church in Sandwich, Illinois. And the funeral will be Saturday, March 22nd at 10 o'clock a.m. Also at our Savior's Lutheran Church. And the address is 2465 West Sandwich Road in Sandwich, Illinois. And if you need a phone number for directions or anything, it is 815-786-6406. Anybody that didn't get this information, just call the clerk's office and we'll give it to you. So, and like you said, our condolences.
And I think for the entire board, myself and staff, we extend our condolences and sympathy to his family. And again, the last item I have, I'd like to get the consensus of the board. If I can move an agenda item up to the first one under new business, and that is agenda item E, amending the municipal code. I think we have some of our staff from the police department has another commitment this evening, so if it's the pleasure of the board, can I move agenda item E to the first new business?
Sure.
Okay, I will do that, and then that's all I have, and we'll move on to the clerk. Clerk Simpson.
I just have, I wanted to remind people that the musical at Westmont High School this weekend going on, so I wanted everybody to be aware of that. And then April 11th, 12th, and 13th, our village performance group will be putting on Arsenic and Old Lace. So look at the calendar, look at the information on the internet and get your times, because I don't have all the times for these. I just have the ones for April, I don't have the ones for Hairspray, so. And I'll announce that again later. So that's all I have
Thank
tonight.
you. Attorney Zemanek.
I echo your condolences to Ron and his family, and other than that, I have nothing to report.
Assistant Manager May.
Thank you, Mayor. The one item I wanted to bring up was the village and the Public Works are members of several professional organizations, one of them being the American Water Works Association. And the Illinois section of the AWWA holds their conference every year in March in Springfield, and they term it WaterCon, but it's a conference and exposition. And besides all the good training and opportunities that come with that, there is also some very competitive contests that go on during this event, and Westmont competes in all of them. First one is something they calls it's called Top Ops, and it's a knowledge-based quiz competition of which the teams compete in this, and Mr. Ramsey, team member with other members, they came in second in the state for that competition. The next one is a new event. It's called Hydrant Hysteria, where they actually have a disassembled hydrant and you race against the clock to reassemble it. And it is the inaugural event, and Westmont also placed second in Hydrant Hysteria. The one that you all recognize from past years is the tapping contest, and you've seen video of that in action. It's quite exciting, and I don't recall how many competitors there were, but the four-man team from Westmont came in second in the state for the hydrant tapping, which is a consistent performance from year to year. I don't know what it is about Arlington Heights, but they really have that down, and they're repeat champions. And backing up a little bit, 2 years ago, Westmont was the first place winner in that. The last contest is called Meter Madness, and it is a bucket full of parts. It's a disassembled meter, and it's got some extra parts in there that don't belong in there, and they race to reassemble a meter. And 2 people from Westmont competed in that, and there are dozens of people that do that competition, and Randy and Kirk came in 4th and 5th in that, so close to each other, so there's a little personal rivalry going on there too. But not all the communities, not all members necessarily compete in all of these competitions, and there is also a separate scoring for your combined score in all of these events from all the people that you bring from your community. And with that, I'm happy to say the Village of Westmont came in first in the state for the combined score for all of the events put together. And that's all very impressive, and I congratulate those guys on that. But that's not the end of it either. Mr. Ramsey, our water supervisor, I mentioned the hydrant hysteria and being an inaugural event, and I'm talking about in a national organization, and he and his committee were kind of instrumental for creating that and instituting it and getting it initiated, and it's kind of being showcased in Illinois before it becomes a national event. And this morning, Mr. Ramsey was honored with he was selected to accept the Illinois Section American Water Works Association Water Professional of the Year Award. And not only his, you heard me at the last Public Works Committee brag on Mike and the amount of his participation in that, and teaches classes for water operators and things like that too. So it was a very exciting week for those guys, and congratulate them all, on particularly Mike for his work in all of this. The other thing I wanted to bring up was mostly just to point it out. No one has to describe the winter that we went through, and it wasn't just the frequency of the snow and the total accumulation of snow, but we had some extreme cold and a lot of, now we're in this cyclic above freezing, below freezing, going back and forth every day and every night, and it's really taking a toll on the roads. We have, like all of Northeast Illinois, have a pretty significant pothole problem going on. Every moment that there is an actual precipitation, whether it's rain or snow, the hot patcher is out there patrolling all the streets and doing it. There are a lot of reports, and I appreciate the reports and don't mind them at all. You can do it by phone call or ideally through the electronic service request system on the website, and initiate a web QA, and they will all be attended to. But I just wanted to assure everybody that that vehicle is out every moment of the working day, and they're out there patrolling all the streets, whether they get reported or not. So,
and again, some of the streets, Ogden, 55th Street, are county
or state highways.
So
that is true. The biggest ones, 55th Street, 63rd Street, Cass Avenue south of 55th, and north of Ogden are other jurisdictions, and have the same troubles we're having, though.
Thank you.
That's all I had. Thanks.
We'll move on to trustees, and I'll start over with Trustee Nurl.
Again, just to express my condolences to Ron Searle and his family, and that's all I have tonight.
Trustee Barker.
I would like to mention that the Village mobile app would be launched approximately May 1st. We're doing more work We're doing more work on that, along with the business database. And we're taking steps now to start to refine that and clean it up for publication. Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Seneca.
Thank you. Just sympathy to our Holy Trinity pastor, Father Michael Danick, lost his mother this week, so I wanted to pass along sympathy to him, and also likewise to Ron Searle and to his family. And then on a happy note, I just have to wish a very happy birthday to a very, very good friend and athlete from C-Spar and Special Olympics, Westmont's golf star, Michelle Forsley, had a birthday this week, so we all know Michelle Forsley. So, Michelle, if you're watching, happy birthday, best friend in C-Spar and Olympics, and
Global
just
messenger,
a great
too.
global messenger for Special Olympics. So I hope she had a really great birthday. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Trustee Barry.
I just want to remind everyone about the Community Street Luge Challenge. That's going to be May 17th and 18th. I think Larry's working right now on having sign-up sheets, and other information is going to go out to organizations. We may open it up to family members because we're running thin on athletes in a lot of these groups. So we may open up to some family members. But again, look for information coming out on that. And May 17th and 18th, that's going to be on 55th and Cass and ending at Uncle Bub's. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Addington.
Just a couple of things. Again, sympathy to Ron's family, loss of his dad. The other, one of the other things is, yes, Wednesday I participated, as did a couple of the other people on the board, in the reading program at Manning School. That's a lot of fun. If anybody gets an opportunity to do that or volunteer, try to do it. Kids are interesting. I had fourth grade, and they have their own way of listening to a reading program. They ask a lot of questions. You better be prepared. But it was fun, and I enjoyed it, and I thank the school system for letting me do that. And again, talking about our kids, weather is getting nicer. Today I noticed that a lot of the kids on my block were out on the streets with their bicycles, so everybody understand it is getting warmer out now. Please, please, please watch where you're driving, and that the kids are out on the street. Let's protect our kids. And the last thing is that we did have a barbecue meeting this week for our Memorial Day event, and it's really picking up now that the weather is turning nicer. And I understand that you have some mail for me in the car, so we even have more entries. We're probably up to well over 50 entries right now. We expect somewhere in the 70s. So, and probably another 50 amateurs. So it'll be another big contest, and we'll see if we can make a nice presentation, everybody, maybe beginning in one of the next meetings. Get some enthusiasm.
Just to add to you, I think we had some additional staff that also read. Trustee Barry, you were there.
Yes.
I think Chief Mulhern.
Yep.
I think somebody from the fire department.
Craig Scala. At least 2 or 3 of the fire department people were there.
Sergeant Flicker and
Yeah.
So we had a good
And a lot of Park
representation.
District people
Yes.
were there. It was, and it's fun.
It's a good community event.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Scott.
Thank you. I see we have a new reporter at the village board meeting tonight, and I'd like to welcome Special Chronicles writer and, well, I guess you started this whole thing with Special Chronicles, so local resident Daniel Smirkowski.
Welcome.
So welcome to the board
Welcome.
meeting.
Yeah.
And then I do have the times for the Westmont High School musical. It'll be this Friday, 7 p.m., Saturday, 7 p.m., and Sunday, 2 p.m. And you can call 630-468-8165 to reserve tickets. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The room's tilting. Everybody's on this side over there. I'm just,
Yeah.
I don't know. We
What
lost
happened? Which
no
way?
one's
You
in.
guys didn't
All right.
wash or what?
All right. We'll move on to agenda item number 6. Items to be removed from the consent agenda. Are there any board members requesting that any items be removed from the consent agenda?
No.
Seeing none, I will ask Assistant Manager May to please read.
Okay.
I can't do it.
Consent agenda. First item on the consent agenda is the February financial report, and board to consider motion to accept the financial report submitted for the month of February 2014. The second item is village board minutes for the village board meeting held on March 6, 2014. Third item is finance ordinance, number 23, total amount of $1,632,166.40. Next are purchase orders. First purchase order for Mavis Division 10, in the amount of $7,750. Second purchase order is Don Morris Architects in the amount of $11,487.82. And the third and final purchase order is for HD Supply Waterworks in the amount of $97,900. The total of the three purchase orders is $117,137.82. Then the total of purchase orders and finance ordinance number 23 together total $1,749,304.22.
Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved, Seneca?
Second, Addington.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussions or questions? Trustee Addington?
On the water meters, Steve, is that those replacements or?
Yeah, it is the, this represents approximately a third of the village-wide replacement programs. We buy the meters in bulk and then have the service that goes and installs them. And we were intentionally late in the season, and they will get involved with that. And then after May, you'll have the next year's contract, and hopefully they can just keep going and knock this out.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? Anybody from the public? Seeing none, Clerk Sinsky, can I please have a roll call?
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 8, unfinished business. A, preliminary plat of subdivision request 5703 Fairview. Board to consider an ordinance approving a preliminary plat of subdivision request from Paul Swanson Associates in order to build 3 new single-family homes. Assistant Manager May.
Paul Swanson Associates seeks preliminary plat of subdivision approval in order to split one lot into 3 lots of record for 3 single-family homes. Stormwater detention will be provided for the development and will be reviewed for final engineering. Secondly, with this item, it's on unfinished business because we took it off the agenda at the last meeting, and that was related to not an issue, but a design criteria that we were looking into regarding the necessity to extend a water main across the frontage of the property to service these 3 homes. And essentially it was, to describe it briefly, would be extending a dead-end water main to even a longer dead-end water main, which isn't desirable, and we're not prepared to loop that water main yet. And it is quite an investment to extend the water main that distance just to service these 3 homes. And the developer has had discussions with the Village of Downers Grove, who maintains a water main. The other side of the street, actually all of Fairview Avenue, is in the Village of Downers Grove, as is their water main on the far side of the street. So part of the subdivision request is to be permitted to allow those 3 lots to be water customers of the Village of Downers Grove and get their water services from the Downers Grove water main. Staff is supportive of that solution. It is their relationship with the Village of Downers Grove. They'll have to secure the permits, and we're relying on them to do that. And if they cannot, then the water main extension would be back in play. And then lastly, and then speaking with the attorney, that might be best addressed under a separate agreement that we could do at a future meeting, if not the next one, is that in the event that we do extend the water main for other reasons, for purposes, once it is across the frontage of this property, we would expect those 3 homes to disconnect and reconnect to the Village of Westmont. You know, we could even do the work. It's just that we would want to transfer 3 Westmont residents back onto the Westmont water distribution system. So that would be the only staff recommendation.
And those 2 conditions, that they're allowed to connect to Downers Grove Water and that they would be subject to a future agreement connecting to Westmont Water if it's made conveniently available, are not contained in the ordinance yet, because I just found out about them. So if that's approved tonight, I'll amend the ordinance for the mayor's signature with those 2 conditions.
Is the petitioner here? Would they like to if you'd like to come to podium and if
Good
you have any
evening.
comments, or we can just maybe ask you questions. So,
Yes, good evening. My name's Paul Swanson, and I have some boards here that I showed the planning and zoning, but in the essence of time, I don't know if you want me to show those, or if you have questions, I'll just answer whatever questions you may have.
I think we had an opportunity in our Public Works Committee meeting to review those plans, so I don't know if, can I have a motion, I think, first? Can we have a motion to
I'll
approve
make the
as
motion.
presented with the changes?
As presented with the changes.
Second, Scott.
I should have also mentioned, just for your information, it was recommended for approval by the planning and
Planning
zoning.
is, okay. And Steve is representing the planning and zoning tonight, too. He's doing everything. So there has been a motion that's been moved and seconded. Any questions?
Can I ask the price point of the homes?
Excuse me?
The price point of the homes?
Price point is, this is my broker, 600,000.
Thank you.
Are you confident you'll get the water service from Downers Grove?
Mr. Bird, who I've talked to twice, said absolutely that you get it.
Mr. Ramsey's also talked to Larry Bird, is the superintendent in Village of Downers Grove, so they've, although it was, more than a week ago, but we understand that they have conceptual approval as well.
When do you plan on starting?
As soon as
As
possible.
soon as you can, okay, good, good.
They do have to do final engineering and
Yeah.
solve the
Sooner the better.
rest of it.
Then are you going to build them as they sell, or are you going to continuously build all three?
Well, the homes would be put up, probably one home, and then the rest as, would act as like a model, even though they're all going to be different.
Sounds good.
Any questions from anybody in the audience? Any additional trustee questions? If not, can I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Luck.
Appreciate it.
Good luck.
Moving on to new business, and this is where I'll move agenda item E, amending the municipal code, the truancy provision, or to consider an ordinance amending section 58-243 of the municipal code to allow enforcement in non-public location. Assistant Manager May, please read.
Current ordinance allows enforcement against truant students only in public areas. Community Unit School District 201 and Marker School District 60 and our school resource officer recommend amending our ordinance to allow enforcement against truant students while on private property at the local level.
And I've asked Chief Mulhern to be the lead in this, and Chief, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mayor and Village Board. Good evening. Back in 1999, when I was school resource officer and juvenile officer, we enhanced our partnership with District 201 and created the current truancy ordinance, which would allow only for us in a public area. As with anything, as time goes on and as things get older, that's also subject to change. And most recently, Detective Weibel, who's our school resource officer, approached me asking for change in this ordinance. And I would like him to present to you his suggestions, and he also has a distinguished list of VIP assistants with him as well from District 201. So with that, I'd like to introduce to you his school resource officer, Detective Mike Weibel.
Thank you, Chief. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. Appreciate the opportunity to speak with you tonight regarding the current truancy ordinance that we currently have. Over the past 2 years of being the school resource officer, I've had the opportunity to meet with the administration of our schools regarding truancy and brainstorm ideas to provide support for the current students that we have who lack the individual initiative and the support from home with coming to school, attending school. According to the Illinois compiled statutes, the definition of a truant student is any student who misses more than 5% of school. So essentially that equates to about 9 school days. Currently, the way the schools handle the truant student policy or a truant student is they will conference with the student, talk with him, explain the importance of being in school and to be successful later on in life. They'll then call the parent, They'll send letters home. They'll involve me in talking with the students, explaining the seriousness of not only coming to school, again, reiterate the importance of being there, but then the legal action as well. We will then conference with the students inside the school. They'll notify the DuPage County Regional Office Board of Education, and then eventually get to the DuPage County Truancy Division. Much like the school, the police department believes in restorative justice or progressive discipline. We do not want to simply just punish the student for an offense without taking an appropriate course of action. For example, if a student or juvenile was to commit theft in the village of Westmont, as a juvenile officer, I have the ability to, instead of immediately direct filing or sending him to DuPage County for the offense of theft, I could either offer him a formal or informal station adjustment, which is held right at the current local police level, where it doesn't affect his record. After that, I could always move up to a peer jury process, which is a court diversionary program, keeping the kids out of the court system, but going in front of their own peers and either get discipline such as community service, writing a reflective paper as to what the offense was, all the way up to get counseling depending on the certain needs that are addressed, or the certain needs with regard to the actual violation itself. By amending our current ordinance, we'll essentially add 2 more tiers to the above chain of what I've talked with reference to the school policy. One being obviously the option of peer jury. Depending on the factors involved with contributing to truancy, they can offer educational meetings and stress the importance of being in school, or have the student complete a reflection paper as to the importance of being in school. It also, if the truancy relates to issues at home, they can try to offer family counseling. If it's merely just boredom and that's why the student doesn't want to attend school, they can offer programs such as the LINKS program, which is a mentoring program, mentoring based, and it matches up a student with an adult leader, and they'll go over the importance of being in school. If this amendment is passed, Westmont would not be the first of its kind regarding the new wording. Currently, Downers Grove and Hinsdale have ordinances in place that mimic our proposed changes, not to mention the Illinois compiled statute with regard to the compulsory attendance law. And further, prosecuting our ordinance would be handled by the same village attorney, Linda Pazinski, who currently prosecutes for the village of Hinsdale. I believe in amending the current ordinance, we as a community give our students every opportunity to be successful in life. The amendment that is proposed is striking out the word public area and adding any place other than school during the time when school is in session during those regular school terms. The bottom portion with regard to the actual advised truancy policy is basically just redundant as it's explained up in first paragraph. Before I take any questions, I would like to obviously recognize, as the chief alluded to, the administration in the audience from our Westmont schools. I appreciate the time that they took to come here to support me and to support what they truly believe in keeping our kids number one. I'm sure we can all agree in most cases education is probably the single most important factor in a child's life. So with that, are there any questions that you have of me?
I don't know if we'd ask Superintendent Carey, if you'd like to please come to the podium and maybe you could add a little bit.
Thank you, Mayor. As Detective Weiler pointed out, this ordinance, the way we look at it is one more tool for us. We believe that we currently have a thorough process in trying to get our young people to attend school on a regular basis. But there are some individual cases where sometimes you need that a little extra tool, I guess, to help with that process. And so I appreciate Detective Mike Weibler's work along with the high school and junior high school administration to bring this forward for your consideration. I'd also like to, at this point in time, also express, I think 201, we have a positive working relationship with our village, with our Westmont Fire Department, Westmont Park District, and Public Library, but also as well our Westmont Police Department, and also would like to compliment Detective Mike Weibler. He's doing an excellent job for us as a resource officer. He's well known by our students. He's very visible, has an excellent rapport. Our administrators and teachers see him as a resource within our buildings, and he's even been a mentor to some of our young people over the last couple of years. And so we feel very fortunate to be working with Detective Weibler, and just want you to know what a great job he's doing for us in our school district.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve, Scott.
Second, Barker.
Motion been moved and seconded to approve as presented on the ordinance. On the question.
Mike, how are the truancy rates? We see them going down, or are they steady?
Since 2009, I looked at the stats, we've had 5 arrests. So it's not a huge issue, but there's 5 of them.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Any additional questions? Anybody in the audience have a question or comment? You have to come to the podium, Daniel. All right, you get to be on, I knew you wanted to be on TV, so.
Yeah, he just wants to be on TV.
And Daniel, you have to state your name, and you can go ahead and ask your question.
I'm Daniel Wygotsky, and I just have a question for the story for the Bugle. How will this benefit the whole community?
Well, it'll benefit the community by having the children in school. Makes them successful. If they're successful, that means they're going to be productive members of our society, and that's ultimately what we're looking for.
Thank you. Any other? If not, the only thing I do is compliment Mike. My wife's had an opportunity to work with you with their Say No to Drugs Club, and he's been a tremendous asset for the school children everywhere in this community.
Thank you.
So if there's no other questions, can I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Thank you, Board.
Been passed. Thank you. Moving back to the agenda, new business A, 38 North Cass Avenue, downtown development grant request. Board to consider an ordinance approving the following requests from Al Kohut of Al K Media at 38 North Cass Avenue in the B1 Limited Business District. 1, downtown development grant request in the amount of $1,100. 2, waiver from awning permit fee in the amount of $200. Assistant Manager Searle. Assistant Manager May. I knew I was going to say that at some point. Steve said he hasn't got demoted yet, so.
The applicant is requesting assistance for the cost of installing a new lettered awning along a storefront. The work is eligible for a matching grant of up to 50% or $1,100, half of the estimated $2,200 cost. The Downtown Development Grant Committee recommended approval on their meeting on January 13th. The applicant is also requesting a waiver of the $200 permit fee, which is comprised of the $125 for the awning permit, $50 inspection, and $25 review fee. Also, it's been requested in the past to know what the balances are for the different grants. If this grant request is approved, the remaining facade grant improvement fund balance is $12,106. The life safety fund balance has already been exhausted for fiscal year 14.
Which ends April 30th.
Yes.
So, petitioner is here. I don't know if he has anything he'd like to comment on. Or...
Thank you for seeing me tonight. And before I go on, I want to mention something about Ron Searle. Ron Searle has been someone I've gotten to know since I've been in downtown Westmont over here as a business owner and building owner. I have to extend my condolences. Knowing the type of person Ron is, he must come from very good stock. And so I really want to send out my sympathy to his family. So I appreciate you, so you see me tonight. I'm kind of feel like I'm making a pitch in front of the Shark Tank. But hopefully, because I'm wearing a sweater similar to the mayor, you'll go a little bit easy on me here. So thank you. Just a little history. This is our 35th year in business as Sound Memories LK Media Group. We started our business back in 1979. We came to Westmont roughly about 1981 when we were located in a building at 801 North Cass, as was referred to for many years as Kareem Beller's building. And she was a great mentor. I always said to her, someday I'm going to move out of here and have my own place. She warned me. But I appreciate that. And I've had the chance to move down here. In 2001, we procured the finances for the building. And Trustee Addington actually was the one who helped me in that case at that time when he was with a bank in town. And I made a commitment at that time when I was going to buy the building. I was also going to make an impact and try to make a difference down here as well. And I've joined the chamber. I've become a very active member of the downtown group down here. You know, I gotta love downtown. When I hear what people talk about in here, all of you are so relatable, and that's what makes it great to be a part of this neighborhood. You know, I come from Berwyn, and everybody knows your name, and people care about each other, and I feel so comfortable around here that I feel I can go up to anybody and really talk to you and have a true conversation and take it personally. So I appreciate that. So, you know, my goal down here is really to improve the downtown community. I put my heart and soul into doing that. I was the original chairman of the Downtown Business Group. I now serve on the marketing committee for the Downtown Business Group. And I think it's really up to all the business owners to grab onto that we have something that we can do. And the idea is it's not just up to the village to do that we've all got to get behind that energy. And so really improve downtown for the sake of the local feeling that we all need to have down here. The awning process started actually a year ago for me. It's been a long time in the works. And finally, this past January, as was mentioned, the grant committee did give me an approval. And you have a copy of that in your package tonight. So it's taken a little while to get done, but I'm hoping tonight that I can get an approval of not only the awning, but also of the waiver of the fees associated with that. I really feel those fees could be better used in improvements that we want to make, and I'm hoping that you'll see it the same way. Thank you.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second, Barry. Motion's been made and seconded. Any questions?
I'm just curious, Al, do you have a drawing of it? I mean,
I
we
do.
have it in our
Yeah, I
packet,
do.
but it's
Do you want me to
really
put it on
attractive.
here?
Yes.
And this way, the people at home can see what you're,
I don't know
the
which way this is.
improvements you're doing to the
Oh,
building.
There
It
is
really
what
looks
should be looking
nice.
like.
Al, while you
Very
do
nice.
that, Al, can you just tell us a little bit about your business?
Sure. The LK Media Group is actually a video production company, which we started way back when. We've advanced into actually becoming an entire digital media company, in that we do a lot of online marketing for businesses. We serve one thing I love about my business is because it's retail-based, we have great relationships with the customers who come in our door. And that, for me, is, you know, more than anything else, I love that part of my business. But we're able to help people, whether they're a retail customer coming in for something as simple as a duplication, or a lot of our business now is coming from commercial clients who are looking to promote their businesses by way of videos. And that business is growing for us. So we're looking to, you know, keep our home here. As I said, I love being a part of here. And I think this addition and this modification in our facade will help us have that identity continue.
Looks good. Any other questions?
Just a comment. You know, they've been in town so long, and just a plug for him, you know, he's done work for my husband and myself. He did a wonderful video for our 25th wedding anniversary, way when he was in 801. He's transferred stuff from like the old, you know, reel-to-reel movies to, so give him business. He's great.
Thank you.
Great downtown
And he's one of the
business.
team players down here, too.
He absolutely is.
I think
Absolutely.
we appreciate that, too.
Much like
We
when we
do.
saw Irv come before us, what a great neighborhood that you guys are creating down there. And Al, I think it goes without saying what an asset you are to the community and especially to the chamber.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
I'd like to say thank you for participating in Westmont First.
Well, I believe in this town. I really, really do.
Yeah, we can tell.
It's
It
great to be a
shows.
part of.
Yeah, we can tell.
Any comments from the audience? If not, can I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Al, we just approved both your items, so.
Thank you very much. Make some changes real soon.
All right, thanks.
Thank you for being in Westmont.
Amen.
New business B, recapture agreement, Bella Reeve Terrace. Board to consider an ordinance approving a recapture agreement for the benefit of Bella Reeve Terrace, 407 West 63rd Street, Westmont. Assistant Manager May.
Bella Reeve Terrace of Westmont is a residential development developed by Brompton Homes. The developer installed certain public improvements that will benefit the adjacent property at 307 West 63rd Street if that parcel is further developed. This agreement will allow the developer to recapture a portion of the costs of those public improvements from the adjacent property. The developer installed stormwater pipes across the adjacent property, and this is all related to the whole stormwater management system that was installed also at Muddy Waters Park. The costs to be recaptured are not in agreement with values in the engineer's estimate as at the time that the subdivision was developed. We're still waiting for actual out-of-pocket costs to confirm what the recapture amount is to be, because it is currently proposed at something significantly greater than the engineer's estimate. So we're asking that it's postponed tonight while those dollar amounts are confirmed. But if you had any questions about the subject matter, you can still be asked tonight.
Do we have somebody here that might want to
Mr. Crane.
And
state your, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, but before Mr. Crane speaks, just speaking generally to recapture agreements, first of all, they're authorized by state statute. They're not mandatory. So if a developer makes public improvements which benefit other properties, the municipality has the right but not the obligation to enter into a recapture agreement for the benefit of the developer to allow him to recapture part of his costs, which will benefit, adjacent or surrounding properties. One of the potential concerns for the recapture agreement, if the recapture costs are so high, it could be an impediment to development of adjacent properties. So you want to keep an eye on what those costs are and make sure that it's going to be fair for both parties. We've worked through the agreement with Mr. Crane's attorney. It looks like it's in good form, maybe a tweak here or there. And the last thing, I think, is just verifying the actual costs and making sure they're accurate and not going to be an impediment to development.
Yeah, Kim had I don't have it with me, but had a short list of punch list items on there, but the significant item was the finalizing the dollar amounts.
Do you want to state your name and then you can address the board?
My name is Bob Crane. I'm with Brompton Homes, the managing broker and managing member of the company. We did send over today a list from our title company that showed all the fees paid, all the monies paid out to the subcontractors for their work. We will get detailed information that the engineers asked for. So.
You're saying that is the information that she asked for?
It's from the title company, yes, and we'll give a breakdown from that point. But everything was given to the title company. All the fees were paid through the title company for the project.
Okay. All I wanted to explain is Ms. Nickel was not in the office after about 11 o'clock this morning, so okay. I didn't see anything forwarded. So my assumption this entire day was that, well, at least it wasn't submitted where she had an opportunity to review it before tonight.
Right.
So it's up to the board, but they don't have an opportunity to fairly vote on it tonight, and it's both our best interest to
right.
put it to the next meeting.
I understand.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. And I do have to mention that Mr. Crane had an agreement with the Park District, and I know Bob Fleck has called over the village, and there's still an obligation that the builders still have with the Park District.
Right. And that's part of the Phase 2, that piece of property. Mm-hmm. We also did not include, which we will include, a letter of credit that was drawn upon by the Park District. And that dollar amount is for the Muddy Waters Pond, and we will include that tomorrow in the agreement. So.
Just so the board's familiar, an area off of Muddy Waters Park, we allowed, in order to have his development go in, detention placed on that property.
Yeah, it was built off-site on the park property.
And part of the agreement was a phase-in payment back for the use of that land, and there's still final phase left to be paid. So that might be part of this type of process too.
I also did inform Mr. Crane's attorney, and I assume you got, word of this, but I promised I'd tell the board. There is also an issue that the village has some level of concern over. I think it'll get worked out in the long run. But Mr. Crane, I think at one point was under contract to purchase the adjacent property. That did not come to fruition. While he was under contract, he extended a stormwater pipe across that adjacent property as opposed to the public right-of-way, because I think the space in the public right-of-way was tight.
Yes.
Then the deal was not consummated, so he has his public, well, I guess that's be considered private, but his stormwater pipe extending a portion of it
Across private property.
across private property for which there's no easement from that property owner. So it's gone on for a couple years. We've been waiting for some resolution. I know there have been discussions that Mr. Crane has had with the property owner. That's not the village's concern, other than urging him to get this resolved, because it could become a problem. My hope was, hey, can we use that as some sort of carrot to get the recapture approved? But it sounds like there may be some redevelopment plans for that adjacent property, so it may be a non-issue. And he has expended the money for the public improvements and arguably,
Right. For the stormwater and for the water. We brought the water from the other location at Muddy Waters back to that property line.
And that property you're talking about is property to the east? Yeah.
Correct.
Again, we're
East
asking,
of the development.
I'm sorry?
to the east of his property.
Yeah, east of his property, right.
so the recommendation is to postpone it
To the very next
to the
meeting.
next meeting so we can get additional information, all the information.
Should be sufficient time to.
So I need a motion.
I need a motion to.
Motion to postpone, Barker.
Second, Nero.
Motion made and seconded to postpone this item till next meeting. Any questions, comments from, if not, roll call, please.
Trustee Barker,
Yes.
trustee Nero,
Yes.
trustee Seneca,
Yes.
trustee Addington,
Yes.
trustee Barry,
Yes.
trustee Scott.
Yes.
And we meet 2 weeks from tonight.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item C, amendment to the intergovernmental agreement with Marker School. Board to consider an ordinance approving an amendment to the intergovernmental agreement for custodial services with Marker School District 60. Assistant Manager May.
After the intergovernmental agreement with Marker School District 60 was approved, they asked to increase the payments from the village. They are providing the custodial services in Westmont Center, and the person they retained, and the costs were more fine-tuned since the time we entered into the agreement in the originally. It is still more economical than what was the existing practice prior to that, which this agreement, I think it was late January. They've been doing the services there. The hourly rate went from $10.96 instead of the $13.11 that is actually being paid for the employee that they selected. If approved, this would result in an increase, which is effective the next fiscal year, of $2,881. And this, as I mentioned, still results in a savings. So we're approving it now for, I believe, their fiscal year, June 1st.
July
1st.
1st.
Their fiscal year.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm looking for a motion to approve the amendment to the IG intergovernmental agreement. Marker?
Motion approved, Scott.
Second, Nero.
Motion made and second to approve as presented. On the question.
I'd just like to comment, I've been in that building a number of times now in the last few months, and they're doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
In fact, I thought the carpet was new. So,
Yeah, it looks nice.
We think we all concur with you. Any additional comments? Anybody from the audience? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Scott,
Yes.
trustee Barry,
Yes.
trustee Addington,
Yes.
trustee Seneca,
Yes.
trustee Nero,
Yes.
trustee Barker.
yes.
Moving on, agenda item D, massage establishment license. Board to consider an ordinance decreasing the number of massage establishment license by one due to Z's Massage Studio, 6436 South Cass Avenue, non-renewal of their 2014 massage establishment license. Assistant Manager May.
Z's Massage Studio, located at 6436 South Cass Avenue, did not renew their 2014 massage establishment license. Staff confirmed Z's Massage Studio no longer has a licensed massage therapist in their employ and no longer provide these services. Board is asked to reduce the number of available massage establishment licenses from 7 to 6 due to this non-renewal.
I ask Chief Mulhern to come to the podium and
Answer any questions the board may have.
Is Z still in business then or not?
They are. However, they are no longer doing massages, so we worked with the village clerk, and she personally did a visit there, and they confirmed they are no longer. They're doing other services. I think, Ginny, is it hair? Or hair or nails salon?
It's a nails.
Yeah, but they are not
They
long.
call themselves a spa, but they do not do massages anymore.
Are they going to change the name of the business then or what?
It doesn't say massage anywhere
Okay.
in there.
On their license, we have it down as a massage. So,
Okay.
And the only reason I'm asking is because that's what the name of it is here.
no, I understand. And all the paperwork I've seen, it's always been Z's Massage. So apparently when they first applied, that's what we put down on our paperwork.
Okay.
Sounds good.
do we have a motion?
Motion approved, Scott.
Second, Barry.
Motion been made and seconded to reduce the license to 6. Any questions? Anybody? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Sinek.
Yes.
Agenda item F under new business, crossing guard contract renewal. Board to consider an ordinance approving the renewal of a contract with Andy Frayne for crossing guard services. Assistant Manager May.
Andy Frayne has been contracted for the past 2 years to perform crossing guard services for public schools and Holy Trinity Grade School. They provide a valuable service to our students at a reduced cost to the village. Recommendation is board to approve renewal of the agreement for crossing guard services with Andy Frayne.
Chief Mulhern, you again can comment on this.
Again, also to answer any questions, this is a renewal with the contract we have in place with them. Also, we are currently in talks with them trying to extend the end date of this current contract to 2015. And we haven't had an answer from Andy Frayne. We're trying to see if they'd be willing to extend it. So at this point, we'd like to have this put in front of the board, get permission without waiting any longer, and see what happens with the extension.
We have a motion to approve the ordinance as presented.
So move, Seneca?
Second, Nero.
It's been moved and seconded. Trustee, questions or comments?
What was their percentage of increase?
It's actually a decrease.
A decrease?
Yes, in preparing for our budgets for next year, actually able to have a reduction in costs, and that's why we'd like to seek to continue with them. They're doing an outstanding job, performance for us. They have a non-duty supervisor. They have substitutes. They have basically taken a job that we did daily with patrol officers or with our community service officer and relieved us of that responsibility by almost 100%.
And we have the same guards that we had before we used them.
And some new ones, yes.
The same faces.
They've hired our own local people to
Yes.
work.
Yeah, they're doing an outstanding job, and I have to find out when crossing guard day is, because I also want to write a letter complimenting them. It's easy for us in this, we talk about this cold weather, and usually we're in a nice warm vehicle, or we're, all dressed up. They're standing out there in those elements, did so this entire winter, and did an outstanding job for the safety of our children. And I think we owe them a great deal of thanks.
We do.
Chief, just to clarify, I know you educated me the other day, but this does not mean we are not going to have a police presence at the schools. Maybe it'd be a good time to educate the people how you were telling me that we usually have a police officer in the mornings and so forth.
Sure. Our district officers, if they are not doing anything else at the morning of each school, our parents and our students should see an officer at each school, at the district or each area. If they are encouraged to get out and interact with the children, interact with the parents, they are there for the assembly time in the morning, maybe not for the entire time, but the majority of it. And the afternoons are a little bit harder because we're a little bit more busier in the afternoons, but also at dismissal time, we ask to have the officers in that area stationed as a visible presence. So it's very reassuring for not only the parents, but the students as well. So while we are not out doing the crossings, we are still there making sure our schools have a police presence in each and every day.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Any additional questions? Anybody from the audience? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Agenda item G, voluntary retirement separation agreement. Board to consider an ordinance approving a voluntary retirement separation agreement. We all have a copy of that. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Barry?
Second, Addington.
Motion made and second to approve as presented. Any trustee questions, comments? Nobody? Roll call, please.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Motion passes. Agenda item H, Village Board meeting summer start time. Board to approve an ordinance to adjust the start time of the regular Village Board meeting to 5:30 p.m. during the months of June, July, and August. Assistant Manager May.
All in favor?
Again, the background on this is I think that last month, the request was to alter our summer schedule. We have our Street Fest, our car show on Thursday evenings, and I think everybody wants to have an opportunity to conduct our business and still have an opportunity to get out there and maybe enjoy the festival, have some dinner, and I think everybody, can attend. The only thing I would do is if in fact, and I talked to Manager Searle and Assistant Manager May, if someone had a problem to get in at 5:30 and missed the open forum, I would give them the opportunity at the end of the meeting
Oh, yeah,
to
that would be very nice.
allow them to speak. So I would
Excellent.
extend that to them.
Similarly, we would have to take into consideration any board committee meetings that would normally be scheduled prior to the meeting. Do we do them earlier in the afternoon or reschedule them? So that'll be a case by case, I imagine.
I would say that if the chair can make it, we could do it at 4:30 prior to the meeting. So, perfect. Again, do I have a motion to approve our summer schedule?
So moved, Addington.
Second, Seneca?
Been moved and seconded to approve it as presented. Any questions? You gotta state your name, Dave.
Thank you.
What's your name, Dave Spitak?
David Svitak, resident for Village Westmont for quite a long time. For many decades now, the Village Board has been meeting at 7:30. Predictable and recently it changed to 7 o'clock. And to go through all the additional work it sounds like you may have to go through, readjusting other schedules, just for the board's convenience to get out early and go into the community for just 6 meetings may inconvenience more people than it would convenient them. People are looking for predictability and consistency, and just to change the times for 6 meetings would be wrong. I would ask that you vote no on this agenda item for that reason.
Thank you.
And one last comment. To go ahead and change the agenda, we have an opportunity for open forum in the beginning. It was a good idea to add it in the end, that you just add it to the end automatically.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The one thing you can, just to comment on, that we do give an opportunity under almost every agenda item for public input. And I think we're not going to do anything that would be detrimental to anybody. We'll adjust the agenda for those early meetings to put an agenda item later. I think the intent wasn't to make it inconvenient for people, also make it convenient for the people to get done earlier in the summer so they can go and enjoy their youth baseball games. They can also enjoy anything else going on in the summer. So and then we've got plenty of time now by doing it now to get the information out to the public.
Another concern of mine is that this may become convenient for you and you may become comfortable with it, that this may then become permanent, and I do not wish to see that happen. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion?
I would just like to add the comment that just to clarify that, I think most of us feel that we would be leading by example by attending this community event and participating and being with our families, and I think it will help us build community, which is ultimately is what all of our goals are.
Thank you. Any additional comments or?
Well, and I think if this room was packed every Thursday when we have our board meetings,
A little different.
David, you'd be absolutely correct, because that would be an inconvenience to a lot of people who come to that. But as you can see tonight, unless it's for something to come before this board, except for yourself tonight, the room is 99% of the time empty. So I have to agree with Trustee Barry there. I think our constituents are better served by us being out there talking to them and actually be able to talk about it. And I know they're going to bring up issues that they want us to talk about and that they want to talk about to us that normally doesn't get done at a meeting like this. So.
And it wasn't something that we just did on a whim or did lightly. I mean, we polled staff to see if it would be convenient for police and fire, and certainly Spencer and our assistant manager. And actually, it's a nice break for staff, and I have no problem doing that. Our staff works so many hours, and when a meeting starts at 7 o'clock at night, they've got 2 hours to kill between 5 and 7. At least now they can, do their work, stay for the meeting, hopefully enjoy the street fair. If not, go home and enjoy their family or bring their family. So I think for a 3-month, I think it's fine.
I don't see it ever going past that, just
No.
for the reasoning is people who have to come before us at nighttime are working during the day, most of them.
Exactly.
So it wouldn't be convenient for them. They have to get home, have their dinner, get whatever they have to do to get here by 7 o'clock or 7:30.
Right. So I think it's a nice gesture for the summer.
And I do think we will monitor it.
Yeah.
And if we think it's that detrimental, we would not do it again.
Yeah, it's not
Absolutely.
permanent.
Yes.
It's not permanent, and it's not set in
No.
stone.
Something we're trying.
I know in the past you've had meetings where, say, you went to combined meetings in the past because the items on the agenda were housekeeping, basically. So what do you do now, say you have an item on the agenda that is, very controversial, such as, home rule issues or any other similar issue? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but those are going to be drawing people out to it.
And if there is something like that, we'll make sure it towards the end of the agenda. So if someone does have a problem getting there right at 5:30, we'll make sure it's towards the end that evening.
Right.
Or maybe you should do them on the nights it rains, if you could.
So then, yeah.
You are a genius.
You're funny.
But and again, just to respond, I think we're doing it as a trial. And if we find that it's causing difficulties for our residents, it'll never happen again. But I like the way Trustee Barry and Scott and even Trustee Seneca, we're actually going to be out amongst the residents. So, and I know Chief Mulhern, a lot of times he needs to be out there. He's in here. I just think it's worth trying this year and see how it goes. So, seeing no other questions, can I have a roll call, please?
Just one comment, Ginny, we need to notify the press.
Okay.
Just like we would of any agenda or any change in meeting times, press has to be notified.
No problem.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Addington?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Okay, we'll make sure that everywhere on our calendar, on our website, that it's noted.
Neighbors Magazine.
Moving on to miscellaneous, I'm going to take the first two items. No, I'm going to do this tonight. I'm going to ask, one of the things we failed to talk about, and I'll ask Assistant Manager May, our brush pickup, to give the residents an idea of how we're going to handle that this year.
Our brush pickup, we've entered with the contract renewal with Waste Management, we've entered into an agreement where we're actually, Waste Management will be doing the brush pickup services, and it'll be on a weekly basis as opposed to the 2 times a year that we were traditionally doing it. However, we are going to kick off the brush pickup with our traditional large collection that the Public Works Department does, and that'll be done in April. Sunday, April 13th, the brush should be out for residences north of the railroad tracks, and the following week, April 20th, will be collection on the south side. That'll be the last time that the Public Works Department does the mass collection, and I guess another key difference is that if you're at a residence that has alley collection service, brush will now be picked up in the alley with the rest of your landscape waste and garbage as well. But for our pickup, for this last one, it should be done as it always will be.
So we're kicking off the brush pickup for the, for the season with our traditional one. And from that point on, every week,
they do have different bundle sizes.
I was going to say, check our website, because there's some limitations in where you have, as far as the size of the limbs. So,
And then is Larry or someone doing something to educate the people that this change is out there?
Yeah, it was part of the philosophy of not eliminating the traditional April pickup, because there'll be, people that have been collecting large brush all winter, and those that are accustomed to it, we want to continue to do that. And then we will have, when we wouldn't normally be doing any pickup, we have all summer to thoroughly process that education.
and one other comment, if there's a substantial storm, that there's a lot of limbs down, trees down, we can also enact our brush pickup for that particular event.
It's at a big scale, certainly.
Yes. So, thank you. And I'd also now like to call up, Spencer thought he was going to get away, our financial director, Spencer Parker. I'd like him to tell the public that we have some budget workshops coming up and inform them when they'll be, and everybody's welcome to attend.
Right, so as is noted on our website, we do have some budget workshops coming up in the very near future. We're going to be holding them beginning, the first one will be on Wednesday, April 2nd at 6 p.m. We'll have a Saturday workshop, April 5th at 9 a.m., and then a Thursday workshop, April 10th at 6 p.m. And we'll be going into depth into the budget and kind of going through it, kind of covering all the different aspects, talking about the different kinds of funds we have, the different balances that we've got, looking at revenues and expenditures, and seeking input from any public that's able to attend, and being able to kind of get the direction from the board and go through the budget process. And then the tentative schedule is to have that approved at the board meeting, the second board meeting in April, so it's approved before the beginning of the fiscal year.
What was the last date again?
The last date is April 10th, Thursday, April 10th at 6 p.m.
And all three of those will be here?
All three will be held here in this facility, in this room.
Okay, I just thought that was good information. Thank you. Anybody else got miscellaneous items?
I'm miscellaneous because we were talking trees. It seems like a lot of them are coming down now, Steve. It seems like that's actively going. So then are we starting the replanting shortly?
Yes, the tree activity, we rely on the winter to do a lot of removals, but this winter we were kind of all hands on different business. So they are back doing the tree removals. These are the tree removals that are related to the emerald ash borer issue that we have in town and throughout the region. And there is a large order being placed for April planting. It's kind of all in conjunction and around Arbor Day.
Oh, great.
Multiple, plantings, right?
Thank you.
Chief Mulhern, if you'd like to come to the podium.
I would agree. Mayor, thank you. I had asked Superintendent Carey to expound upon our SRO program with Detective Weibel, and I wanted to be remiss to congratulate him on doing an outstanding job. He is an excellent representative of the police department in our schools. I get compliments not only from the school administrators to teachers, students alike. He's doing an outstanding job. He's been there for 2 years, and it seems more than that. And I just wanted to compliment him, so the board is aware of it too, and the fantastic job he's doing up there. And also the partnership with District 201 and Marker School. Even though Marker was not here, they were going to have staff here, they couldn't be here. He's doing an outstanding job with all the schools and all our children throughout the village. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief, is there a term for that officer?
Yes, detectives serve a 5-year term with 1-year option of myself, by myself extending it to a 6th year. He's 2 years into it. He had big shoes to fill with Sergeant Gomorsek's being a school resource officer, and he's doing an outstanding job.
You can tell he likes his work. Huh?
Yeah, and also to Holy Trinity as well. He works closely with Holy Trinity, all the schools. Yeah, he does. And he did an outstanding job here tonight. They put him through the paces today.
Thank you,
Mayor.
Any other trustees have any miscellaneous items? Clerk? None? Assistant Manager May?
Nothing else, sir. Thank you.
Okay. If none, we do not, will not be an executive session tonight. So at this point, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So move, Scott.
Second, Addington.
Motion been made and seconded to adjourn the meeting. Roll call, please.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
And thank everybody for attending, and the meeting is adjourned.
Children.